Welcome to our Devos, where we have been talking about resurrection revolution. The ability that the resurrection of Jesus Christ has to change this whole world, which it did, but also to change us and our world and how we see the working hand of God. Well, today, I want to talk about something that very few think about. We mentioned yesterday about how the resurrection reminds us that all problems have an expiration date. Well, today, we are going to examine the simple idea that the resurrection reminds us that God has the ability to catch us off guard with hope. Did you know that? Did you know that sometimes God will literally explode surprise into your life and give you hope where there has no earthly business being hope? Where God can take a situation that you think is terminal and turn it around. And yes, I mean situations that you believe are done and finished. God can turn those situations around. The resurrection gives us the ability to remember that God is still in the business of surprising us with more than we could ever hope to ask for. So today, we can say, I am surprised by hope because he lives. That is the mantra. Ready? Say it with me. I am surprised by hope because he lives. There's people that I've talked to that are in horrible situations. Specifically, let's look at the area of finances. I've talked to couples and people that come from different financial backgrounds, and they're struggling with discouragement because they feel like there's no way that they could possibly dig themselves out of the hole. And they'll say, look, I'd have to work for 100 years to be able to pay that debt off, or I'd have to do this. And then all of a sudden, God does something miraculous. They get that pay raise. Somebody sends them a deferred payment of something because they weren't inappropriately paid before. I've seen people where other people step in and pay their bills for them, and they weren't asking. God just does something. And God surprises them with hope. The resurrection reminds us of what God can do when a situation seems entirely hopeless. Take a look at the first Sunday, that day when Jesus rose from the grave. It says in Mark chapter 16, verses 1 and 2, when the Sabbath was passed, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go and anoint him, meaning the body of Jesus. And very early on, the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. I ended the verse there, and there's a reason why. Because they were thinking that they were going to be surrounded by death. They were thinking that they were going dutifully to honor the body of the Savior. They were thinking that they were going there to pay their respects. I want you to imagine what it felt like on that first Sunday when they walked to that tomb and found it empty. When they heard what the angel said. When they heard the pronouncement about what happened. I want you to picture in your mind what that hope felt like. That is resurrection power. And I want you to know that God does things like this all the time. On smaller scales, you might not see it. But I want you to realize that resurrection, the resurrection of Christ, causes us to still hope that God can do great things. So some of you, you're completely hopeless. Stop. You have no idea. You have no idea what God is on the edge of doing. You have no idea what God is on the edge of changing in your life. If you simply buckle down and focus on the resurrection of Christ and see what is possible here, it will cause you to be reminded of what God is possible, what God is able to do in your life right now.